Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of CityZilla Plays here in the beautiful city of Rockwood. I hope you are having a fantastic day. And in this episode, we are going to lay out the foundation for a downtown district. I think it would just be really cool if we got some high rises in, maybe did like an IT cluster, and probably another quite a bit bigger transit hub. I was thinking like an end of line for the train platform station, which would be cool. Doing the multi platform metro station would be pretty cool. And so one of the things we're going to do in this is talk about the road layout as well as kind of identifying some strategies to make sure that this area doesn't get super congested. Because it's going to end up being kind of a tighter grid, it does lean to congestion. And so there's a few things that you can do to kind of play around with it. And then we're also going to be messing around with the new mod, the network extension tool. And I think it's really cool. I am not a pro at it. I'm sure Biff is going to be coming out with something good here soon. But I can definitely point out a couple things, and so we'll go ahead and dive in. And so the first thing that we're going to do is identify what kind of layout we want to do. I want to follow this same grid that we got going on. And so I think what we're going to do is probably just extend that over here. One of the things I was looking at, I think it would be really cool to do like a riverfront district right here. I was just recently in Savanah, Georgia, and they had this really cool like quay walls with the bridge, and then they had this kind of old cobblestone road with a bunch of hotels and like leisure buildings on it, like clubs and bars and restaurants and stuff. And it was just a really cool atmosphere. And so I think I'm going to try to copy that here and maybe do a quay wall, and then probably do another quay wall up here so we can get kind of like a step look. And so I think we're going to leave this whole area by itself. And we're just going to concentrate on this area today. And so one of the things that we're going to do is go into roads. And so I laid out a couple things already. I did this guy because we really needed to have an interchange over here. And so I did a single point interchange where you have all two on ramps and two off ramps coming into one point. It just really helps with a lot of traffic. I kind of did a little research on a lot of different intersection types and like local roads versus highways and arterials and stuff. And this was one of the things that I came across was doing these single point intersections. And I thought it was really cool. And so we're going to try to do another one probably over here somewhere or maybe back here. We'll kind of play around with it. Another thing that we're going to do is do some inside exit lanes just because I think they're really cool. I've seen them a lot in cities. And because we have this space right here, it kind of allows us the opportunity to do that. And so we're going to kind of divide up the traffic with it. And so what we're going to do first is go into roads. And I want to continue using the bike roads. And so we're going to use this as a 6-lane. And so this is probably going to continue being a 4-lane. But maybe not. And so I want to continue following this larger grid that we have. So it'd be 3, 4, 5. You know what? We're going to follow this across and just see how many we get. We'll see if we can get 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 10 right there. Perfect. And so then we'll come down and we'll kind of follow this down. We'll go 5 across. 3, 4, 5. Yep. And we'll come up. And don't worry, I'm going to go through and kind of move the pillars and stuff. I just have Anarchy on right now so that I can kind of lay it in. The game's kind of finicky when it comes to putting in roads underneath highways and stuff like that. So 3, 4, 5, so it'd be this one right here. And then 3, 4, 5, and we'll come down and connect this. And the reason we're doing this is to break up traffic. And so one of the things that I want to do over here, this is all oil-rich land. And so, oh hey, look at that. We actually got a couple of them. So we went from recognized to renowned, and we kind of haven't really been focusing on it. And so maybe at the end of this episode we'll do that. Maybe on the next episode though. This is going to take quite a bit of stuff. So one of the things that we're going to do is use this as an oil industry, and so that means we're not going to be able to really do any sort of zoning over here except for maybe just industrial. And so we want to keep that in mind as we're building this out. But what I was kind of thinking is it would be really cool to do like an IT cluster right here, maybe some leisure or tourism specialization, and then just some various like office buildings and stuff. A lot of times when you see huge intersections like this, or interchanges. A lot of times they are in really dense downtown neighborhoods. I'm thinking like Atlanta or Dallas or even LA. There's huge interchanges like this really close to their downtown areas, if not in them. I think Phoenix has one too. I'm not entirely certain though. So I want to do the high rise buildings, and then I want to kind of spread it out. And so this will be kind of the center of our high rise district, and then we'll just kind of build it out as it goes. I'm thinking probably up this way because I want to follow the road. And you can kind of see it's bumpy. That's the end of our square, and I just haven't gone up and cleaned it yet. But we'll probably have the downtown district spread out this way, especially with our waterfront district kind of being right here. We're going to end up following this down and kind of make it into just a really nice area to come and visit. And then we'll probably end up putting in another campus area over here as well. And so with that all in mind, let's go ahead and see what we can get in here. And so I want to first off connect this road. And then, so we want to provide access for all ways. And so we need an on-ramp and an off-ramp for each direction. And so what we're going to do first is come in here and go to just a high-speed road, but with two ways. And then I'm just going to come in here and put it in the middle. I think this is really cool to do it like this. And so we'll see, though. Maybe it's going to come out terribly and wind up having to delete it. But we shall see. And so I'm just going to go ahead and hit Control H and just match that height. And then I'm going to go in here and upgrade it so that I can get my columns. I guess it doesn't really matter with the sound barriers. And so what we want to do is probably have this terminate, maybe even on this side. Because I think for over here, yeah, it would probably be good for us to do that. Because then we could even tuck the entrances in right here. And so let's just go ahead and see how that looks. So we'll follow that down. I think that looks good. And then it's going to allow us to kind of push this in just a smidge so that those ramps aren't going to be right next to each other, which is definitely something you want to keep in mind when you're building cities. Though you do see it in real cities all the time. When we were in Miami, that was like my number one complaint, was that they had on ramps and off ramps everywhere, and there was always either lanes disappearing or lanes appearing, and it just created such terrible traffic. Some of the worst traffic I've seen. It was bad. So we're going to go ahead and put that in the middle. It's because we want it to look good. And then we will go over to our handy dandy ramp. And I kind of want this to be close to that. Gonna have to anarchy it in. I think I went too far with that other side. Because now it doesn't really look uniform either, but it's okay. We'll go into the node controller and see if we can just kind of clean it up. I mean, that looks pretty good. It's definitely a quick off ramp, but there would be no traffic that they would have to yield with, so they could just kind of fly right off that. Same with this guy. That's pretty good. I was kind of hoping I could get them to be symmetrical, but it doesn't appear as though I'm going to be able to, though. I think if I lower the height, maybe I might be able to get that a little bit better. Yeah, there you go. That looks pretty good. And then so we're going to go in here and use the new slope tool, and I actually really like it. It's pretty easy. You just select all the nodes in a row, and it actually won't let you select any nodes that are outside of it, so it's super handy when compared to some of the other tools where you can accidentally raise or lower the height for certain things, and then you just hit enter, and it actually, I mean, it made it perfect. And if you do end up getting those weird little bumps, a lot of times you can just go in and kind of remove the node, and it'll end up cleaning it up. And so that looks pretty good. I think that came out pretty well. And so now we have an on-ramp as well as an off-ramp for this road. We want to make sure we take that off. We do not want people trying to turn around on this. And then we just want to make sure that we add little 4 lanes. We just want to give room for them to yeah, I mean, that should be good. It's not very long on this side, but I think it'll work for our purpose. What you want to do is just create dedicated lanes. And so if somebody is just trying to go through, they ideally don't have to change lanes. They just continue straight on. Though you can see in this lane, they do kind of have to veer just a little bit over, but it's all right. Just prevents cars from having to unnecessarily brake. And so I think that looks really good. So we're just going to go ahead and follow the same thing on this side. And I think for this side, we probably won't have it. I think we'll have it come over here. I think that would be good. And we'll go back into the new slope tool. I think it sloped it up, which isn't bad. As long as we got clearance, I just don't, yeah, like this right here, I don't want that to be like that. So we'll just go in to move it and kind of clean it up. Make sure that cars aren't going to lose the top of their roof on this road. That would definitely not be a good day if you just flew off a freeway exit and all of a sudden it chops the entire top of your car off. Not to be good. And there we go. I mean, I think that's pretty good. The light pole still is kind of smashed in through the road there, but it's enough clearance to where a car wouldn't hit that. Same with the semi. I don't think it's enough clearance. And there we go. And let's see if we have the same issue on this side. Oh no, we got it. There we go. And we'll just go into node controller and just kind of clean this up a little bit. I do want to move this just a smidge. I think even down just a little bit. And there we go. At least it's a little cleaner. Again, they're not going to have to worry about any traffic, and so they're going to be able to come off this at full speed. And that's really the goal, is to try and prevent just weird braking. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. So that looks pretty clean. That was one thing I could do over here too. I didn't even think about it. Just make it a little smoother for those cars so that they're not just unnecessarily flying off this road. I don't know why they're stopping there now. There was 2 more nodes there, and I had created a node. So now this car is confused. They're just stopped on the road. He's like, I don't understand. I don't want to keep going forward. You just can't take it anymore. Sometimes they sit here for quite a while too. He'll figure it out though. Yeah. And then we just want to clean this up. There we go. That looks pretty good. I might just have to delete this one poor car. Oh yeah, those slopes look great now. We'll come in here, do this, do that, do that, do that, do that, and check again to make sure that it didn't put it in there. I was really hoping it wouldn't have, and it did. That's alright, we will. It's so funny, it normally clears up before this. These cars are jammed. Gotta check make sure I didn't put any weird priorities on here. Well, there you go. And they all just rush through the car all of a sudden. I was holding up traffic for so long. Everybody's so furious. People were probably getting out of the car, just yelling at everybody. Same kind of thing is happening here. Just unnecessary lane changing. We'll have to, I don't know why they're trying to get over so quickly. Even if they're in this lane, they're okay. Yeah, you can see cars are already using this. That's great. We'll do the same thing over here with the 4 lanes. It's funny, I probably could have just done that when all the cars were stuck there and they would have became unstuck, but it's alright. It was kind of entertaining to watch that guy have the midlife crisis on our roads. You can kind of see this node is really close to, so the same thing might happen here where the nodes are just too close together. We'll see. Doesn't always happen, but you sometimes will see just cars braking for no reason, and a lot of times it's just because those nodes they're just too close. And so I think that's pretty good. We got our first connections here, and so we want to go ahead and give priority. We're just going to do yield signs for right now. As the traffic builds up, we probably will change that a little bit. And so one of the things I was thinking about doing is doing another single point connection over here, but with only the one direction, kind of like this. I want to split it up. And so traffic doesn't just go to one area to get on a certain direction. They kind of have to choose a path depending on where on the freeway they want to be. And so I think for right here, we will go through here and, oh man, look, we lost it. We went from renowned to recognized. We definitely, I think on the next episode, we're going to end up, actually, we can probably do it at the end of this episode, but we shall see. So I want to come in here, and since we are doing the single point connection, I want to do like a nice 3 and 2 lane road, asymmetric. Just because I think it would be really smart right here. We don't need more than 2 lanes going in, but we definitely want more than that. So maybe even over here. No, I really don't want to create. I think this would be good. Actually, we don't. I think if we just do 2 and 2, yeah, because we don't need that other lane. And so I think, no, I think that's good. We'll just do that right there, and then the goal is to create a nice sweeping exit with this. And so we're going to go way back here and go ahead and turn on the freeform tool. Come out to the side. And there we go. It's a little bit bigger than I was hoping, but it'll work for our purpose. And there we go. So now we have an on-ramp, which we just need to switch this up. Just need to level it out. And so we'll go into the new network multi-tool. And I did the same thing over here. That's all right. We will fix it in just a second. And that actually looks really good. Just want to lower these down a smidge. And we'll go into the node controller and clean this up. That looks pretty good. Yeah. And we'll do the same thing over here, add in another lane just to make it easier. Do the 4-lane again. Just going to remove this node right there. I think we can probably do the same on this side. Yep. Just cleans it up, makes it a little easier for the cars to understand what's happening. Again, the same thing. I wonder if this is the same guy camper van. He's like, everybody stop, we're protesting the new freeway. Just causes a huge backup. So that looks pretty good. So now we got access on this side, and then so now we need to just come on over here. And I kind of want to do the same thing. So we have this ramp right there. We have a ramp right there. I think it would be good to put one right here. And so maybe we'll, yeah, I think that would be good. And so we'll probably do the same thing as the other side. And we'll just use the little 4-lane road. This one looks good. There you go, that looks pretty good. And we got enough height over here to clear the road. And then we just need to come in here and adjust this up. And I want to, while I'm in here, make sure that nobody is turning on this. And then we want to create another lane. Yeah. We'll just set up priority for this road. Again, we're just going to do yield signs for right now until it gets busier. And so look at that. So we split up all the exits to where now traffic isn't going to be concentrated in any one area. And I think this is really smart, especially since this is going to be our downtown district. It's going to help to kind of spread out the traffic a little bit, especially since we already did kind of add in some other relief on this side. Another thing I ended up doing kind of in between episodes, I changed this back to a split highway. Doing the off ramps is just really hard on these connected roads. I really prefer having the undivided highways just because in urban cities you tend to see that more than split highways. You really only see split highways in like rural areas or interstate or long distance, to where it's easier for them to have the roads actually completely split and maybe go on easier terrain or something. Um, but in cities, it's kind of wasted space unless they're planning on leaving room for like further expansion. Then split highways do work out a lot. But even then, a lot of times they end up just coming in kind of closer to each other like this. Okay, and so now that we have our layout, let's go ahead and look at some possibilities. So normally in really dense urban settings like this, you do end up seeing some tighter grids, and so I think we're not going to really get away from that. It's just really functional in these areas, especially with a ton of high rises and stuff. It's really walkable, and so I think we're going to end up following that. We want to put on toggle node snapping. And doing grids like this, I just keep seeing traffic. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But I think it's going to look cool, and that's really what we're going for here. We're going for something that's going to create a nice aesthetic to our downtown area. And we're not going to continue this pattern all the way across, and so I think that's key. And so we want to come in here and kind of place down some parks. I think it would be good to do some of the bigger ones. We'll probably do that, and then we'll do that. And let's go ahead and place some in here as well. And I want to put down some landmarks. We don't have anything in here, and so a Statue of Wealth, I think that would be good. And we want it to kind of be in the middle. That's good. We'll do the Statue of Shopping as well. There we go. And then the Plaza of the Dead. There we go. That's not exactly what I was going for. The cool thing with Savanah is that it's symmetrical. Like if you pull up the map, it actually looks really cool. If you zoom in on it, you can kind of see how all of their grids are really laid out. And it was one of the first master planned cities in the United States, and it's kind of cool that they had designed it around these parks to be centerpieces. And so we are going to provide walking access for all of these. And I'm going to keep the middle rows empty. Once all these buildings come in, it's going to be hard to do paths, and so it's smart to just get them done. I think in that area we'll probably do like a little bit, something bigger. We're definitely going to need some bridges. I mean, I think that's pretty good. And so let's go ahead and look at, I normally like doing the service plazas, but I think for this one it's going to be a little hard. And so I think maybe this middle square would probably be good. And then we're going to go ahead and utilize the bigger stations. And so we'll put a hospital right there. And I think we'll do the elder care and the child care like across the street too. That would be cool. And then we'll go ahead and put a cemetery over here with the crematory. And then I want to do the firehouse. I think, you know, we'll do a little road off for this one. We might be able to connect that. There we go, and that way we can provide the firefighters a little better access. I think we'll put the police station over here as well. And then I want to, you know, and I think that's probably good. We don't want to get too crazy with it. Yeah, I think that would be good. I just want to do some paths and stuff, make it look nice. This would not be ideal to have the paths underneath the freeway, but it's better than nothing. And there we go. I mean, I think that is pretty good. The streets provided a ton of walkability, and so let's go in here and start painting some of these districts. And so I want these to be the tech ones, and so I'll probably come over here just because the IT clusters are the tallest buildings in the game, and so I think that would be good. And then because we're going to end up doing that riverfront, I think we're going to turn this into a tourism one, and then we'll come over here and just do a residential. And so for this one, I want to go into policies, and I want this to be high tech. And I want, you know, we got to do schools in here too. So we'll do the elementary right there. I think that we'll do two actually, since this is going to be a high-rise area. But then we'll go over here and delete this guy. I think that would be good. And then we'll go ahead and put the high school in the middle. And then let's go ahead and put a library on the other side. Yeah, there you go. So it's got like a nice little, this whole section right here, we won't zone in some schooling and stuff. Some park access. This would be a huge project for the city. I'm spending this much money trying to build this whole downtown district. This is definitely taking the city into a different category, especially one of the main reasons why you want to do downtown districts like this in real life anyways is the concentration of talent. It's easy for people to corroborate with each other and work together, and so you could have companies that work closely with each other right next to each other, and so it's really beneficial for a lot of businesses. And so we're going to start off by doing the residential. And then I went ahead and zoned this for tourism and leisure, and I think just because it would be really nice to have it there, and I think we'll probably end up doing something bigger over here. Maybe the Grand Mall. I think that might end up being just a little too much, but let's see if we can fit it in here. Because I think that would be good. We didn't really set it up for this amount of traffic, but I think that would be good. And then we'll just zone around it. No, I'm going to leave it empty and we will, you know what, let's put it over here. Of course it doesn't fit. That's alright. Put that there. I'm going to zone in. We want to use this space. And then I think we'll just do some nice landscaping around here. We'll probably go with, I'm going to do like some colored trees. I think that would be cool. Yeah, like these like liquid amber, the red ones or the gold ones. Just look really good. This is our grand mall, and so it wouldn't just have random zoning around it, I don't think. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good, though having them in rows is kind of weird. I think I need to offset it just a smidge. Maybe we'll go back to that sugar maple. I think that looks good. Yeah, nice contrast. And then I'll go in between. There you go. And we'll put down some foliage. Just a little bit, not a lot. I'll go ahead and put a fence around it. And there we go. I think that looks great. It's got some parking already, and we'll probably still end up having to put in some parking right here. Let's go ahead and do that before all this builds out. So let's go in here and see what kind of parking I have. Okay, and so that definitely took some finagling. I don't have too much experience with this parking mod, but a lot of other people have been using it, so I wanted to use it, and it definitely is going to take some getting used to. But I got it to work kind of how I wanted it to for right now anyways. You kind of got this little sidewalk down here, so I'm going to play around with it and get it right, but I think for right now that's probably the best we're going to get. I'm used to doing ploppable assets for parking lots. And there we go. We just want to come over here and just kind of decorate up our little parks. Okay, and so let's go ahead and look at what we got. Well, these came together pretty good. These definitely still have some room for upgrading. It's probably mostly education, but you can kind of see the IT cluster came in already, and this looks really, really good. I ended up leaving room for us to do some bridges on the outside. As you can see, there's already a ton of pedestrian traffic kind of trying to make their way over here. Look at this, like a huge, I don't know if that's like a marathon. Where are they running? These people are all running together. They're just in a huge group. There's another one. Maybe it's because the... Oh, they're all going to our parks. Oh, that's exciting. Unless they're all going home. Yeah, they might be using these paths. That's smart. So we ended up using those paths, and as you can see, they're being really utilized. I mean, this is a ton of people. And they're all walking home, but they're all working at the IT cluster, and so they're all deciding to come over here. And I really like how our parking lot came out. I definitely still need to fix that, but I like that we were able to fit in this grand mall. I think that looks just really good. As you can see, there's some people in there. Looks like 40 a week, and so I think this came together pretty good for our little downtown district. We still got this square to work with, and then I really want to do that waterfront district, and I think it's going to look really cool. You can kind of already see our skyline is kind of coming together, and these nice bridges and stuff, and you can kind of see some traffic building up on this roundabout. This is just going to be a tough interchange to deal with. But we'll kind of play around with it and we'll see. I think for right now our city looks pretty good, and so don't forget, if you like my content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the like, and leave comments as well. They all really help the channel. They help me to kind of see what you guys think would be cool in the city, or if you guys have any suggestions or any comments, like maybe you don't like how I did these, or I don't know, just let me know, and I'll go ahead and catch you on the next one.